Hi group, I've had a blast in this class. I've learned a ton. Thank you for your feedback and your inspiration. Here's my project called The Wave. I made a visual map of the process I went through for this project. I outlined the 6 steps for design thinking as it was modeled in Amy's visual map. So step 1, the inspiration. This was the fun part, developing an understanding, exploring, seeing where my curiosity led me. I love the Art Deco fonts and for a sense of place and time and architecture. Then I really liked the high contrast, thick, thin, curvy with straight. I liked the negative space in some of the typeface. I really got into a good swirl and the curvilinear swoosh lines. And I like the onomatopoeia that I started to really go down a rabbit hole with. Then for step 2 in brainstorming, I looked at all of your fonts and I was really drawn to Wonders in You's column for inspiration, the contrast of thick and thin. I really wanted to get at the idea of the empathy portion of design thinking. What is the function of public art? Should it educate? Should it encourage active participation, socialization, or encourage rest? So these are some of the things that were going on in my head as I was trying to brainstorm and come up with ideas. So for step 3, pushing your ideas. I had to force myself to not get too stuck in one mindset and continue to stretch. And I sketched multiple ideas in this stage. I felt it was time consuming but a good exercise to push my ideas, and I enjoyed sketching very different concepts. I was really interested in the architecture solid feel of the A's and the H's and the D's and the O's and what they could become. I really felt they had the most volume to house something. I finally settled on the idea of the wave because it's something that I really love, and I remember Amy saying in a Zoom meeting that we should really kind of, if we want, do something that represents ourselves. And I love the water and the ocean, and I feel like there's many messages about life when it comes to water and earth. So I pursued this idea further. So step 4, drawing, modeling, and detailing. I was putting the array of visual drawing techniques that we learned over the past 6 weeks, and I expanded on my idea of the wave. I finally got my very thin pencils, colored pencils, and I felt my perspective drawing got a lot better. My lines weren't as smushed by the soft pencils. I used elevation, plan, views, and 2-point and 1-point perspectives. I wrestled with the base a lot of this prescription that we had to sort of stand by. So I had mentioned in one of my notes about nesting my piece in the base for more fluidity, and I got some feedback that I should just go for it. So as you can see, I played around with that. I did a lot of drawings that I added, I added some drawings here at the end just to show you that it wasn't just what you saw on Padlet. I did have to do a lot of exercises with this, which I'm sure everybody had to deal with. All right. So step 5, transitioning to the step was probably the hardest for me. Practicing on the Bristol board, I continued to practice the clarification of the design and the detail and working it out. But in one of our Zooms, Amy went over rendering glass. I practiced using the pastel with baby powder. It was a neat step to learn, and it was helpful. Again, a subtle glass coloration. And then I scaled from 1/2 inch on some drawings up to 1 inch on an elevation drawing. It was a frustrating process to transfer the ideas to Bristol board and hope you didn't screw up. But here's my final design. And you could see the carved quote that I want to insert, and can kind of see the font that I would like to use. I'd like it to be, not too spaced apart, so it's a stacked wording. And that's it. Here's some final material suggestions that I was playing around with, some ideas of color, and then my last step, step 6, the presentation fear. So this is the end, and thanks for watching.